Alright, y'all, I know it's something different again, but you know, they tried to destroy stuff. So once again, part of Tartarian history maybe, or maybe something more than that, you know. But look, this fire burnt this building up, and they ain't covered it, they ain't tried to fix nothing on it. But ain't it funny how everything around here kind of looks Roman? But this ain't what I came to show you. I came to show you this big old thing here and something else on top of it. Oh, you know, I've heard stories online. I've been going through, because I like lost history. I like uncovering the truth, history for real. And I'm going to show you some things. They call this thing over here a water tower, but it's much more than that. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. You know, because they're going to have to make this all make sense to me, folks. They're going to have to make all this make sense. It makes no sense. Hold on, let me fix this real quick. Alright. Alright, get that back right. I know. I'm messing up over here. But yeah, these stairs go up to that, you know, big giant megalithic slab that goes way back. So, you know, there's stories that people say back in the day they used to use airships. And I'm going to show you something. So, you know, you would think that there was airships back in the day and stuff, and they were unloading people and loading people, and, you know, then you got buildings like this that look like a terminal spot, you know. And it's like, hold on. So I started looking at things as I'm driving through, because I'm like, hold on, man. If there's places like Tartaria, or if Rome was everywhere, or something, there would be more evidence, right? You know, lions, griffins, or just weird stuff like this. Like, you know, you got this. And I'm sorry, folks, you're not going to tell me that pilgrims and cowboys and other things built this. It's like these buildings all around. And there's more on these buildings too, because I know things about some of these buildings here because I've been in some of these buildings. You know, you got this. And like, bro, like, you know, come on now, make it make sense. Y'all are got what here? Y'all got what here? And then look, you know, you got like the stuff right there, whatever that's supposed to be. I guess a seahorse? Like, it's weird, y'all. That ain't the half of it. So they just want to tell you this thing is a water tower. You know, they want to tell you stuff like this. You know, you got stuff here. Y'all can take a chance to read that, do whatever you need. But yeah, then you want to tell me some cowboys and Indians and some pilgrims and them built this thing. But what water tower has windows all the way through it, and then what looks like an observatory tower up top? The antennas coming out and stuff, like, for energy. Well, I know for a fact there's a type of water that goes through there. Because I know for a fact underneath this, there's generators. Big, massive, old generators that water used to run to for power. Alright? So then, if there was airships, you would have to have a place to load, unload, big enough for an airship. You know, big enough for an airship. Big enough for people to go up, to load and unload. This ain't even half of it, folks. I mean, come on, look at these fountains and stuff here. And you're gonna tell me that pilgrims and stuff made all this. Y'all see what I'm looking at, right? Y'all see this, right? Okay. So yeah, we're gonna make it make sense, right? So then we're gonna come on up here all the way up these stairs. I'm gonna show you something special. So we're coming up, you know, it is what it is. You get up to this giant part here. What is this slab up here? And then they got it blocked so you can't get up to it no more. The stairs are locked. There's another fountain here. Like, come on, y'all. Like, I ain't even gonna front. Like, this stuff reminds me of something you would see, like, in the lost city of Atlantis or something. Like, this got seahorses and stuff dedicated to, like, the sea gods and stuff. But then you got out there, which looks like a building for, like, when passengers would load and unload. And when I say this slab is giant, it goes way down there. It goes way down there. And when I say way down there, I'm gonna walk this way. I mean way down there, you know. But like, come on, folks. And then over there, that building up top has like these griffins coming out of the side of the wall. Like I said, man, this thing long. You know, like I said. And then you got that down there. And then you got the water tower, supposedly. You know, and then you got the copper top buildings and stuff. You got the buildings like that. But like I said, in the distance over there, way over there, has these griffins and stuff. Woo. Hold on. Trying to get in there better. Up top here, as you clearly see. So, yeah. Sorry, folks. I'll figure this thing out better soon. But yeah, this is long. And then they redid this recently. They've been painting it and stuff, and they put this fake stuff over the old stuff here. You know, you can see the transfer, but they use this foamy stuff over it that they paint to make it look like the old stuff. Yes, it's funny how they try to hide all this in plain sight. And it's the easiest thing to do. You ever want to hide something, you always hide it in plain sight. It says 1960 on there. If y'all can see that. But I don't believe that. Like I said, folks, this thing goes way down there. Way down there. There's other stairs at the other end. There's other stuff at the other end. Yeah. Make it make sense, folks. Yeah. And down these stairs, old ass stairs. But you know, I'm just saying, everything looks like Roman. Everything. And here's that building with the griffins on it real quick. They're up in the corner with all the other stuff. Get a closer view. Yeah. You'll see, yeah, griffins and stuff coming out of the side and all that. You're just gonna tell them that, you know, they just liked that style back then and this and that. Yeah, right, folks. Like I said, they use fires and stuff to try to destroy all this. Like, literally. I'm gonna hit this one last spot to show you over here on this platform thing, like how big this thing really is, guys. And if anything would have been used for an airship, it's hidden in plain sight. Bro, sometimes they'll be deep within neighborhoods in the cities, but you just gotta look for what's just in plain sight. You might drive by it every day and not notice it because you're distracted by everything else around you. Flashy neon signs, all this extra shit. Like, bro, everything that you've been taught, everything is a fucking lie. So this, something I've seen in there when I was a kid. Alright? And there's generators and stuff. Old, big, giant green generators, folks. Old, giant. Like, look at that, man. They just, beautiful buildings sit there for almost 2 years now after the fire. They haven't tried to cover the roof. They haven't tried to do nothing. They just let it sit there. And then eventually, it'll become such an eyesore to the city to say, oh, we gotta get rid of it. And then they'll tear it down. But if you ever notice, the nameplate on these buildings are a totally different design, totally different color, does not match the architecture. But yeah. Just a little something I want to show you. But yeah, they just sit here and let this stuff die and be forgotten. But there's people like me that still want the truth to be out there. So, like I said, the nameplates are always different, always changed. At one time, that was a beautiful building. Until next time, y'all, we out.